Hey there guys, it's Tina and I am back, and I have a fun video for you guys today, one that you guys requested. I posted a video recently where I chose only 10 makeup products. If I could choose only 10 products, what would I choose? I will link it over here so you can check it out. And in the comments for that video, a couple of you guys were like, well Tina, how about you go ahead and do a look using only those 10 products that you chose, Missy? And I was like, how dare you? Challenge accepted. It was a challenge though, for real, because I realized through using the products that I was missing some things. Now I could create a full look from this. As you can see, this is the look that we created. I was able to accomplish this, no problem. But there were some things that I wanted to add in, like I was like, oh, I was missing this. And I think that's a good way to build a collection, to use core products and then add in things that you feel like you're missing. And the products that I added in on the end, so I added I think 5 or 6 more products. I think those would have helped a lot in this video as well, because then anything that I was missing I could pull from those products. However, I didn't do that in this video. I stuck to the challenge that you guys presented me. I was like, all right, 10 products, we're gonna do this. I changed one product. I didn't really change it. You will see in the video. It wasn't like a major change, so don't come for me just yet. Just watch the video and see the product that I changed, and I explain why I changed it. So anyway, I'm gonna stop yapping right now and let's go ahead and jump into the look I created using only the 10 makeup products that I chose in my If I Could Only Keep 10 Makeup Products video. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Alright guys, so clean, freshly washed face, you know the drill. I actually went in with a little bit of serum and moisturizer, but we're skipping that step because we're only using the 10 products that you guys told me to use, and I feel attacked. But it's fine. We're gonna show you what I can achieve with those 10 products that I chose, and we're gonna start off with eyeshadow primer, and I'm gonna use this for my brows as well. So the one I chose was the Decay Anti-Aging Primer Potion. One, because it is just more hydrating. It's less drying than like the regular primer potion. But I need an eyeshadow primer for my eyelids and my brows because I have oily lids and oily brows, so the skin around my brows gets really greasy, really creasy, and then the product will just go flying everywhere, like my brow product. It's just a mess. And then my eyelids get very, very oily throughout the day, so I have to wear an eyeshadow primer even if I'm not wearing makeup, like not makeup but not wearing eyeshadow. I still put an eyeshadow primer on so my lids don't get like greasy throughout the day. So tools were not included in this, so y'all can't clock me on the tools that I'm gonna use, which is one good thing, because Jesus have mercy, if I had to choose tools as well, it would have been such a struggle. So I'm just gonna brush through these brows here, and the brow pencil that I chose, or the brow product that I chose, is a pencil, and it is the Benefit Precisely My Brow Pencil. So we're gonna go ahead and fill in my brows. Should I speed through this, or do you guys want evidence of me using only the 10 products? I feel like y'all want evidence. So we're gonna go ahead and fill in the brows. And it's pretty quick for me to fill in my brows. Oh, the shade that I'm using is 4.5. They have deeper shades than that, but they are more on the neutral black side. I think number 6 is one that I've also used. It's a much darker shade, and it's more, like I said, neutral black. This one is a neutral dark brown, and I absolutely love it. I don't even know if they describe it as a neutral dark brown. Do they? I hope so. Or I'm just lying to you guys. That's fine. A little lie never hurt nobody. But I'm sure they have brow pencils with like warmer undertones, so like that reddish brown or like a caramel brown. I can't use that because I have really black hair, so I need a pencil that's gonna be more on the ashy neutral, not necessarily ashy, but more on the neutral side instead of being like a warm tone brown. So work that one brow is fine, right? Like y'all are good. I'm just gonna work the product through with the spoolie, and since I don't have a powder to fill in like sparse areas, I'm just gonna keep applying product and brushing it through so it gives a softer look, but I still have the definition. So Bam, brow done. All right, I think those brows look pretty good. And I was thinking to myself, at this step, I could have cheated and you guys would have never known. But I am holding myself accountable because I'm editing this video, so technically I could use products that weren't included in the 10 and you guys would never know if I was sneaky, but I'm not gonna do that. And I was struggling with the next step, which is concealer. So the concealer I chose was from Urban Decay. It's the Stay Naked Correcting Concealer. The shade I chose was 70 NY because I don't like a bright concealer under my eyes. But then I was like, holy crap, wait a minute. If I choose that shade and I don't have like a different eyeshadow base or anything, then I'm stuck with that color for my eyelids as well as under my eyes. I didn't want to do that, so I went up a shade and I got 60 WR, which is a warmer shade, and this guy is gonna be used under my brows. Now, is it cheating if I use the other shade under my eyes? I thought about that as well. I'm like, well, you chose a concealer. They didn't say you couldn't get 2 shades. You can't do that. We're choosing 1 shade. So the concealer is still the same concealer, still the same formula, just a lighter shade. I can still finagle a lighter shade under my eyes, but to use a darker shade on my lids, it's gonna create a muddy look to eyeshadows. And I found this out yesterday because I was trying to do the look, like I was ready to film this video. I applied the darker concealer and I was sabotaged. I felt defeated and I just washed everything off and went and watched How to Get Away with Murder because I cannot, okay? And it didn't look good, so I was like, alright, looks like we're gonna need a lighter shade. Now they have a 60 NN, but the NN is a neutral undertone and it was just not as lifting. It has that neutral, almost gray cast to it, which I like mostly, but it just didn't pan out for the eyelids, so that's why I went with the warm shade instead. And I'm blending this out with just a damp sponge. This is actually from Sonia Kashuk, and that's gonna give us a nice base to go in with our eyeshadows, and it will give me a highlight under my brows since the palette that I'm using doesn't have a highlight. Again, something I discovered from using the actual product yesterday and trying to figure it out. Alright, so the eyelids ready to go. Let's zoom in and do the eye look. And we're using the Impulsive palette from Melt Cosmetics. I've used this palette before in videos, but I didn't necessarily use it on its own. So this time around, that's what we're doing because it's the only palette that we chose. So the first shade I'm gonna go in with is 2012. This is a matte mustard shade, and I'm just gonna blend that lightly in the crease area. This is gonna act as almost our transition shade since there's no light transition shade in this palette. But because I have warmer undertones, somewhat, I lean more neutral with foundation, but I do have like yellow warm undertones. So using a warmer yellow mustard shade in the crease will work since it kind of goes with my skin tone. So we're gonna blend that out using my Detail Pro Brush from Sonia G. And oh my god, this is so much better than it was yesterday because yesterday, girl, child, it got so muddy. It got so ugly. I was like, Lord have mercy, y'all can like give me a break. Let me use a different base. And that's when I was like, no, 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 no. You don't get to cheat. I'm bringing this color all the way in to the inner crease as well. But I was like, no, you don't get to cheat at all. You need to use the colors that you chose. Thank you so much. Thank you. So next up, I think I'm gonna go in with the shade Rule Breaker, which is like a deeper orangey brown. Like, it's more like orange though. So I'm just gonna buff a little bit of that on the outer crease. I'm not pulling that all the way in, so that's gonna add that warmth. I feel like this is gonna end up being a sunset look. Is it? I don't even, you know what, I'm lying to myself. I do like warm shades. I was just about to say I don't even like warm shades. That's a whole lie. I do like warm shades, but it's not my automatic default necessarily. but with this palette you end up doing warm type of looks. So next I'm gonna go in with Dream Big, which is the real brick brown red, and what I'm gonna do is apply that on the lid but not on the outer V, because it's going to interfere with the other shade that we're going to apply on the outer V. So I'm using the same brush for this entire process so far, and that goes to show that you don't need many brushes as long as you have like decent eyeshadows and a good eyeshadow base, because I was finding that if I didn't use a proper base, some of these eyeshadows didn't necessarily pick up as intensely as I wanted to. So that's why I need the concealer in this case, because the primer by itself, it does a good job but not as good as I want. So I'm gonna just buff that shade all over the lid, not all over the lid, but like towards the center of the lid, and buff in the crease. And that looks pretty good, right? Now I'm gonna go in with the dark burgundy wine shade. This is Boss Lady, and I'm gonna apply that to the outer lid. This shade is the one that I had trouble with yesterday. It just didn't apply as deeply as I wanted to, and it is the darkest shade in the palette, so it has to show up deeper than it was looking. So I'm just gonna buff that in the outer V, and this is working out pretty well. This is the only thing that I would probably change about this palette, is to add maybe like a deep espresso brown or even like a blackened brown, but I would need like a deeper shade. Even the black would do, because then I could deepen up the other shades with the black, but the darker brown I think would just suit more people, because then very pale skin could still use it as a deepening shade, but it wouldn't be too stark. So we're applying that shade, outer V, circular motions, and kind of buffing it in to build up the intensity, and that is working so much better. Oh my god, it feels so good. Okay, I'm gonna go in with a more concentrated blending brush. This is from Sonia Kashuk, and it's just their blending brush, but this is a smaller size brush, so it's gonna give me more payoff from this color. So I already blended out the shade, and now I'm just picking it up and building it up on the lid, and that's going to be perfect. Alright, so this looks pretty great. I'm just gonna clean off the brush on a washcloth and then go around the edge of the shade. Now, I don't have a brow highlight shade, which is the other thing that was missing from this palette. And when you're choosing a palette that you're gonna use every day, then you need to consider those things. Do you need a transition shade? Do you need a brow bone highlight? Do you need a darkening shade? Like, what is your style of makeup? How do you like to apply makeup? For me, I realized I needed a deepening shade, a transition shade, and then a brow bone highlight, which is not that hard to find in my collection because I have different options. But if this was my only palette, I know I would be kind of yearning for those kinds of shades. So keep that in mind. I think I'm gonna go in with the shade Warehouse Party, which is this middle shade here. Now this shade is not necessarily a bright lifting shimmer shade, but it is really beautiful. So I'm just gonna apply that on the entire inner lid area, even going into the inner tear duct. Just popping that on with a Rite Aid eyeshadow brush. Now, I'm the type of person that loves an all matte look, so if I had a lighter matte shade, I would have just popped that on the lid and called it a day. I am fine with that. Now this color is gonna give you more of a warm, it's almost, I don't know how to describe it. It's like a nude shade with peachy and pinky reflex to it, because it doesn't come off like a champagne or anything. It definitely has more of a nude tone to it. But alright, that's what we'll have. I'm gonna go back in with the larger brush from Sonia G and blend around the inner tear duct. And this is gonna just fade out the edge of the shimmer so it blends in with my skin. That looks nice. And I'm gonna go back in now with the darker red and just blend out the edge again on the outer V and outer lid. Inner tear duct, maybe I want to do something. So I'm gonna grab Pop-In Bottles, which is the lightest shimmer shade in the palette. Gonna grab that on a Wayne Goss number 19 brush and very lightly pop that on the inner tear duct. Nothing too crazy because I don't have an obsession with a bright inner tear duct at all. So boom, I think the eye look is pretty nice. Hold up, maybe I want to go in with a little bit more of the orange shade, the Rule Breaker shade, and pop a little bit more on the brow bone. Yeah, just to give it a little bit more warmth. I have like glitter in my eyes right now. That is not cute. That's from the Shimmer shade. So if you are not a fan of glitter, be careful because this palette, the shimmers do have some glitter to them. So I'm just gonna remove that with a makeup wipe. Alright, so let's go ahead now and do some face work. So for the foundation, I chose the Urban Decay Stay Naked Foundation. So we're gonna use that guy. And the shade I have is 70 NY. And we're just gonna pop that on our skin. And I'm not gonna do too many layers of this. I'm just gonna give a light wash because I like that this foundation gives me beautiful coverage without coating my skin in like full heavy duty coverage, and it just works. It's such a beautiful color for my skin as well. It blends really nicely. It's lightweight. It doesn't feel heavy. I love it. I just love it. So let's apply that really quickly. Now, as I mentioned, that concealer shade that we chose, now it's no longer my skin tone, so I have to make sure that I cover any like annoying hyperpigmentation. Like I have a little bit of scar here, and yeah, I'm just covering that up, making sure I blend everything out nice and seamless. Now let's go back in with the concealer. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna lightly apply that under my eyes. I'm not doing like a whole swipe because again, it's a lighter shade, and then I'll blend that out with my sponge. I'm not allowing this to sit on my skin either, because when you allow concealer to sit on your skin, it almost intensifies the pigmentation because it gets to evaporate a little bit. So some of that moisture will like evaporate, the pigmentation is left behind, and you get a fuller coverage. And I don't need that with this lighter shade right now, because you can see it definitely looks a lot lighter under my eyes, and I'll bring a little bit of that between my brows as well just to lift that a little bit. And as I blend, I'm just fading it out into the cheek area so it doesn't look as light. So you see, that's how you can apply the concealer. And then I'm going in with some of my foundation shade and just going over the top of it, so it brings down that brightness a little bit more as well. It's pretty because it looks, I do look slightly snatched, like under my eyes you're like, oh girl, yes, but no. That's not how I like to do my makeup personally. You can choose to do your makeup how you like. I don't judge. I just don't like the look on myself, so that's not what I go for. And now I'm going in with my Charlotte Tilbury powder. This is the powder that I chose. And we are down to it, girls. So I'm gonna go in with my Juvia's Place J123 Tapered Blush Brush to apply this under my eyes. This is also going to tame that brightness a little bit. So even though I highlighted under my eyes with that concealer, it still gets tamed by the powder. And I'll just use the same brush because it works all over my face for this powder. This powder is so good. I love it for setting my skin. It doesn't look heavy. It doesn't look like, oh my god, where is she going with all that powder on her face? It just smooths out my skin just enough, mattifies just enough without being heavy. So light coverage of that. So the face is pretty good. What do you guys think? I think that's pretty good. So we're now gonna go in with the blush products. So I chose the Saharan 2 blush palette from Juvia's Place, and the color I'm gonna go in with is towel right here, which is a matte orangey, like an orangey peach, and I'm gonna just pop that on my cheek area. These are pigmented, so be careful with application, but we applied powder, so it shouldn't be too crazy. It shouldn't be sticking to anything else. So I'm just gonna use circular motions to buff this out. This is a rougher blush brush. It's the number 5, and I'm just blending that out. This brush has a little bit of texture to the bristles. They're a little scratchy. It may not necessarily feel like the most luxurious soft brush, but it does help to blend out, like if you over apply something, you can blend it out with that brush. So next I'm gonna go in with a little bit of Sola. It's a pinky gold blush, and it's a shimmer blush. I'm using it as a blush topper to give me a highlight on that cheekbone area, and I'm using my Envision diffuser brush, which gives that beautiful blend as well. Really love that. That looks great. And I'm feeling like I'm gonna go under the brow with a little bit of Zoba, which is the lightest shade in the palette, and that's gonna work as a brow highlight. So see, even though I didn't have a brow highlight in the palette, I can use the one in the blush palette as my highlight, and that actually works really, really well. Wow, that is woo, that is gorgeous. I ain't even, you see, y'all doubted me. Y'all thought I was choosing the wrong products. Now look at you. Look at you, how do you feel? Because I feel great. So now let's go in with bronzer. The bronzer I chose is the Cover FX Monochromatic Bronzer Duo in the shade Sun Tan Bronze. So this is the deeper one. I'm gonna go in with the matte side of the bronzer and go along my hairline. This is a Juvia's Place 201 powder brush, and I'm just applying that to my hairline area. You see how that added a little bit of dimension to that area? I'm gonna also grab a little bit of it, not too much, and apply to the contour, like the back of my cheek. Not coming too far in, just at the very back towards my hairline and towards my ears to give a little shape. And we can also use this on the chin area. Girl, look, yes, yes, everything is coming together, and I feel great about this. I'm gonna actually grab a little bit of the highlighter side too and apply it just to the temp, because we want to get a little bit fancy. And this is a bronzy shade, so yes, that looks cute. Yes, girl. All right, let's finish up the eyes with some mascara. I chose my Too Faced Better Than Sex. Didn't choose any lashes, but that would almost be one of the things that I would miss are false eyelashes. I love a good false eyelash, you know? It just makes an eyeshadow look a little bit more intense and like boom in your face. But I can still layer up my mascara to get like a full lash look. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm just gonna go in with a few layers of this mascara, go to town and get my fullness and my volume and the rich blackness on my lashes. Yes. I have a favorite lower lash mascara, but we didn't choose that, so we're just gonna have to use this guy on the lower lashes and go with it. The other thing that I'm missing would be a lower waterline liner, which would be my Urban Decay Perversion liner. So that's another thing to consider. But I don't necessarily always need a liner on my lower waterline because it doesn't add that much of a difference, so it's not a lot for me to be like, no, I'm good, thanks so much. But we're gonna go back into the palette and go ahead and grab a lower lash line color. So I think I wanna use, should I use the blue? I think I'm gonna use the blue. This is the shade Tipsy, and it's just a shimmery navy blue. It has some glitter in it, so be careful. You might want to just dampen your brush a little bit to apply that, and I'm just using a MAC 242 to pop that on the lower lash line and give my lower lash line, even though I don't have liner on, a little bit of zhuzh, and it's gonna bring some attention. And that blue is really pretty. It just gives a little bit of intensity, and it has the shimmer in it. Let me see if you can see the shimmer up close. Can you see the pinkish purplish glitter in this? it's gorgeous. So that's what we have for the eyes. And now after a quick outfit change and a little bit of zhuzh, let's go ahead and apply the final product, which is my lip product. And this is a lip gloss from Pat McGrath. It's in the shade Flesh Fantasy. I love these lip glosses. They're so creamy. They don't feel heavy on the lips. They're lightweight, but they give this beautiful shine with just enough pigmentation, just enough color where it doesn't come off like, oh my god, it's a melted, shiny liquid lipstick. This is a true gloss, but it gives this beautiful look. Oh my god. So here you have it, guys. This is the completed look with the 10 products that I would choose if I could only choose 10 products. And I absolutely love how this turned out. Now in the video that I did add a few more products in, like if I could keep like 15, 16 products. And those I think would have given me even more options, because the eyeshadow palette does have its limitations. Like I don't have a supremely dark outer V color, and I didn't have a brow bone color. And that's fine as it is, but I can also add in more products and build my collection from the base 10 products. And that for me is the key to building a solid collection. Start with products that you cannot live without, products that you absolutely love, that you want to have in your collection, and then build on them. So for me, I added in a few more products at the end of that video. So I added another eyeshadow palette, which I think for me to have like a core collection, I would have added a couple more palettes just to have more variation, and to definitely have like a brow bone color, inner tear duct highlight, a black for the outer crease and outer V, and then I would add like maybe an eyeliner for my lower waterline, and then maybe a couple more lip colors, and even another blush palette. But that would be it. Like I don't need a ton of products to create beautiful looks. So here you have it. This is what you guys requested. What do you guys think? Did I do a good job? Can you guys create a look from the 10 products that you would choose for your core collection? Let me know. And as usual, I'm gonna leave a full list of the products mentioned. I did this already though, because it's in the other video. But anyhow, I'm gonna leave them down below again, along with links on where you can pick them up. Those links happen to be affiliate links if they take you to Ulta or Sephora, which means I will get a small sales commission if you make a purchase through those links. If you're not comfortable with that, just shop the way you normally shop. But if you do shop through my links, thank you so much, because it does help me to put right back into the channel. And I will also leave links to my Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. Follow me along. I haven't been updating those lately too much because, you know, we're just listen, we're living life and enjoying a break. So here you have it though. Follow me along, have fun there. And if you aren't already subscribed to this channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And until my next video, which will be very soon, I'll talk to you. Bye guys.